All right, fellas, let's finally get into some Bears stuff here. Greg Rosenthal of NFL.com going through the divisions right now, naming his projected starters for the upcoming season. For the Bears, he's got Coleman Shelton listed as the starting center, Zach Pickens on the defensive line. Pickens didn't start at all last year as a rookie. Of course, Shelton was out in Los Angeles. Are we feeling comfortable slotting them in as starters, or is it a little too soon to take that leap?
I think it's completely wrong. I was just reading over the weekend about how the Bears are so excited about Ryan Bates being the starting center, which still I would probably use the center that I signed at center, but they seem to like Ryan Bates. I feel like he's going to start there.
Well, let me just say this. When you're paying Coleman Shelton $1 million, that isn't what a starting center makes. The top guys, if you're trying to be really good, those guys are making $15 million. The Kelseys of the Jason Kelce, who just retired, I know. They believe in Ryan Bates a lot. So we'll find out. They tried to sign him 2 years ago. Now they've acquired that contract. He's going to get every opportunity to be the starter. We'll see who deserves it.
Frankly, with Shelton, when you go out pay a guy $1 million, that's a you have to make the team candidate, not a we're paying you to start games on this team.
The Rams, for whatever reason, went, not good enough. We're out. So
we'll see.
All right, another Bear nugget here. A lot of talk, a lot of hype around the offense, as there should be. Of course, Caleb Williams. You've got the addition of Rome Odunze, Keenan Allen. We're all hyped up about this offensive attack. One name I haven't heard a lot about since he signed all the way back in March. He was the first signing of the offseason, DeAndre Swift. The old adage goes that a good running game can be a young quarterback's best friend, fellas. How big of a key will Swift be to helping out Caleb Williams and the offense in general?
Massive. If you can't run the football, you can't win in this league. That's a fact. And so I thought that Hoodie always believed, with Khalil Herbert, Roschon Johnson, they're fine back there. I thought it was as pedestrian as it comes. They went out and spent some money. They got a young guy who's 25 years of age. Now they've got some depth in that room. So, yes, it will be essential to help Caleb.
Yeah, of course, running the football is going to help Caleb. I believe personally, Roschon Johnson's more the key to that than DeAndre Swift is. I'm not a big DeAndre Swift fan. He was not great in Philadelphia last year. I know he got to 1,000 yards, but a lot of his productivity came in the first couple games. I think he had 250 against the Vikings. I don't think he crossed 100 more than twice the rest of the season. He had I've cited the analytic negative rush yards over expected last year behind the best offensive line in football. 4.6 yards per carry is great. That's the same number Khalil Herbert had. I just don't believe
Khalil Herbert, and I know you're going to say Swift's not a great blocker either, but he's also a better receiver.
Maybe, but he doesn't receive. He's not catching the ball 50 times. He's not catching he's not going to get that involved. So, the Swift signing's fine. I think
he ran for 175 against Minnesota.
Yeah, that was the big yard gain of the season. The first 2 weeks, he was fantastic, and then he fell off a cliff behind the best run-blocking offensive line in football. I think you're getting him at his worst. He's been banged up a ton throughout his career. Running backs typically, once they get to age 25, just flame out. I have concerns. I think Roschon's the key to the running game, not Swift. I would hope at some point this season Roschon becomes RB1. I don't know if that's going to happen.
We'll see. He's a good blocker, I can tell you that. Kevin.
The NFL has already conquered London, and they are trying to take the next step in global expansion. This from CBSSports.com. The NFL is considering a game in the Middle East, which would likely be in Abu Dhabi. They've never played a preseason game in the Middle East during the modern era, and they're also considering games in Japan and Italy. Shea, I think I know how you feel about this, but any interest level in the global expansion out in the Middle East or the Far East?
Not with NFL teams. They tried NFL Europe, during the early 2000s, and it failed. Try it again. You've been putting NFL products over in Europe for years now. You've got the London game. Maybe put a game in Paris.
Australia?
I'm not, the Abu Dhabi thing, the Australia thing, that's enough. We're sending teams to Australia. You got to cross 14 time zones or whatever it is.
That's absolutely a killer flight.
No, we don't need it. For what? So we can, and God knows, and this is where they'll really piss me off. They do this so they can make the money, and they're all going to get us to sit down on a Wednesday night for an Apple TV Plus exclusive at 8 p.m. Central so they can get a reasonable local kick time in Melbourne, Australia. Who is that good for?
Pretty soon it's going to be the Moon Bowl.
Correct. They're going to build the Super Bowl be held on the moon. Yes.
You better run the ball on the moon. I don't think that's going to carry very well up there.
Kevin, did you see the news from Tom Pelissero this morning?
What did he say, Cap?
So Tom Pelissero is now reporting that this may be the final year of OTAs. The Players Association is working to finalize a proposal to overhaul the entire offseason schedule as soon as next spring, eliminating all voluntary on-field work in the spring in favor of a longer training camp ramp-up, with players reporting now for training camp mid-June to early July per sources. The union is seeking feedback on the plan from their players, a majority of whom support the change. A formal proposal is expected this summer. Off-season work rules are collectively bargained, and any changes would require an agreement from both sides. But under new leadership, the NFLPA has consulted medical and performance experts in hopes of creating a common-sense solution to reduce injuries and maximize players' recovery time. Virtual classroom work would still be permitted in the spring, but no practice until training camp at all. The NFL push also says that it is not, the NFLPA push is not directly tied to an 18-game season.
Yeah, sure.
But it's worth noting a longer schedule would further shorten the time between the season and training camp. Another reason consolidating players' time off into one super long break would make sense.
Yeah, I'm sure it's not tied to an 18-game season. It's the NFL. The NFLPA does not get anything without giving something. If they want to get rid of OTAs and have a longer training camp ramp up and window that starts in mid-June, they're going to get it by giving the 18th game.
Yeah, no
That's
question about it.
exactly how it's going to happen. And we're going to end up with the Super Bowl President's Day weekend. The draft will be the same weekend that it is. It'll carry right into rookie mini camps, which will carry right into training camp.
There will be no rookie mini camps. There will be none of this, according to
The NFL
this.
is going to get their wish, man. The Goodell is going to get his wish of an 18th game, the extended playoffs. It's going to be 365 NFL. It's takeover. And then they're going to ask me to watch games 6 out of 7 nights
Well, when
in
you
a
say
week.
365, there will be no on-field work allowed once the season ends until training camp.
I'm not talking about on-field work. I'm just talking about the way they can maximize this calendar now. Because now if you get the Super Bowl in the end of February, basically, you could even move the draft back, move free agency back a little bit, maximize your calendar so that you're the talk of all the networks 365. That's what they want.
Isn't that what you want? You're Mr. NFL. You're Mr.
No,
Kicking enough football,
I don't.
Shay.
The reason
You want football 6 out of 7 days of the week.
No, I don't.
I think you do.
The reason why I'm Mr. Football is because of the sweet spot it was in where I'm allowed to miss it. One of the best things about the NFL season is that Tuesday and Wednesday, I miss football. If you start giving it to me Tuesday night, Wednesday night, I'm not going to be so committed to watching those games, especially not if you stick them on Peacock or Apple TV
You don't have
or
Peacock?
Netflix. It's not about whether or not I have it. It's about, can I conveniently watch this and also keep an eye on, it's October, playoff baseball.
There's nothing inconvenient about opening an app to watch a football
No, but
game.
there is something inconvenient about getting off of the app to put something else on my television.
Do you need me to come over there and help you out?
No, man. I'm not even talking about me. I got multiple screens. I'm good. The average guy that wants to watch a World Series game.
Or gal.
and
Don't
ends
forget
up
there's
with-
ladies that love football, too.
Of course. The average fan that wants to watch a World
Archie.
Series game and also ends up with Eagles and Cowboys on a Wednesday night on Peacock. No, it's not good for the fan. It's not. The NFL's not interested in doing what's convenient or good for the people who consume the product. They're interested in getting money from TV networks. Period.
Waking up at 3 a.m. to change your lineup because the Bills are in Abu Dhabi? That's not for the fans. This is for the fans, though.
Z-Pack, you know me. I want to go to movies. I mean, how am I going to go to a Tuesday night movie?
Have you seen Mad Max?
Yeah.
How was it?
It was great.
Was it good? Not a big Mad Max guy. Aaron Rodgers says the Jets are must-watch TV. That's pretty obvious. Everyone knows that. The Jets are jammed-packed with primetime games. 6 out of the first 11 weeks, you're going to be able to see the Jets under the lights. He said, whether you love me or hate me, people want me to play. Is he right?
Yeah, he's right. Look, I am a fan of Aaron Rodgers. I don't agree with 90% of the nonsense he spews when he talks politics and vaccines and everything else. But I love watching the dude play. I do. And I think he'd be a super interesting guy to talk football with, to sit down and have dinner. And I still hope to do that someday. He's on my bucket list.
You wouldn't talk football. You might try, but he'd rope you into some JFK conspiracy theory.
I'd love to debate certain things with him. I don't want to talk politics. I have zero interest in that, but I'd love to talk life with him. Yeah.
Darkness
100%.
retreats. Of course, people want to watch Aaron Rodgers. People who love him, the 6 Jet fans, including Greeny, they want to watch their
A
team.
lot of Jet fans.
They want to watch their team, and everybody else wants to watch them fail. That's why I'll be watching. I'm glad that he's on 6 primetime games. If he plays all of them, feels a little risky for a 41-year-old off an Achilles tear to go out on 6 primetime. Is he going to stay healthy all season? I don't know. But I will enjoy watching him fail.
I hope he plays well. I do. I think it'd be super cool.
I think it would be way better if he just sucks. Look like Tom Brady in the last year, where we all know you aren't the guy you were.
I hope he goes out and just has a great year. That'd be a lot of fun.